tell us, what the administration is feeling now that we're about a year in office.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. Of course, anything that has to do with governance will not come just so easy. There are challenges every day. Your ability to be able to respond to those challenges is what defines you as a leader who is ready to deliver on campaign promises. But I can tell you that what we met on ground shocked a lot of us, and that's why we've been having some teething problems in trying to, wriggle out of it, because we thought that Edo was already an El Dorado, as easily marketed by those who presided over the state before now. But coming on board and carrying out quite a number of exercises to unravel the true status of Edo with respect to our economic well-being, and management of our collective patrimony, we discovered that there were too much to be desired. So we are gradually moving on. We are steadying the ship of state. We are responding to developmental challenges in the critical sectors of the state. The governor came up with his own agenda of 5 points in the area of security, in the area of health, infrastructure, natural resources, and education, and other social developmental areas. But when we came on board and saw that too much money, too much debts were hanging on the neck of Edo people or Edo government, we now began to wonder where was all of the resources they got before now. But we're not going to continue to lament about the parlor state of the state. We have since moved on. But each time that we try to move on, you see supporters of the previous government, for want of trying to play relevance, we keep raising all kinds of insinuations, commentaries, lamentations, on the pages of social media and what have you. That's not going to distract us, that's not going to deter us from doing what is right. But if need be, at every point in time, if we are confronted with issues that need governmental attention with respect to the previous government, we will do just that, because we are talking about public funds, public finances, and all of that. So once we discover areas where there were underhand dealings, infractions, financial malfeasance, we'll definitely respond to that, using the appropriate channels.
Are such incidents, or at least maybe the way I should put it is suspected incidents, because you're going to investigate and know how far you can go, how much further you can go. Are there so many incidents of them that we're still talking almost a year into office, we're still talking about this? Was it so craftily and cleverly hidden that they weren't immediately obvious, and you sort of stumble on these things as you go along?
Well, it's not. You see, at every point, when the previous government was leaving office, they talk so much about e-governance, and so that means paperless government, the government from one end to the other, using the computers and the internet and what have you, And that's where the danger is, because the laws, the civil service laws of the state talks about usage of memo, file documentation, data keeping, and what have you. But you have a government that was now doing e-government, and when they were leaving, they didn't give us the password or the codes to unlock all of those platforms.
Dear.
They literally went with the code. So when we now had to seek the services of those who can break the code using a back-end method, we are making an appreciable success of that. And along the line, we now started seeing new discoveries. Even the one we saw under the asset verification exercise, when we raise questions, invite some of these persons, literally they've all absconded, ran away from Nigeria, they are elsewhere, touring one country to the other in the name of saying thank you to Edo people overseas, whereas back home, there are legions of several infractions and halitosis that define that particular era. And it calls to question the fact that people must be accountable when it comes to public finances and public governance. Because in order for you to deepen the conversation around government and governance and impact on the well-being of the people, you must be above board in handling finances. Even we now, we have to be conscious of what we do, because the government coming after us will also look into our books.
That's
so
right.
It is not a matter of which hunt. It's not a matter of which hunt. It's a matter that is very desirable for you to know the state of health of a government at every point in time. So we are discovering new things. The governor just wrote a letter last week to the House of Assembly to probe into two legacy projects of the past administration of Governor Obaseki, the Radisson Hotel project and the Museum of West African Arts project, which the government sank money into, for which we are not getting any value for the kind of resources that the government, put into that.
Okay. Actually, I was going to bring up the Radisson Hotel matter, that the governor had sent a petition to the State House of Assembly, just as you have said. But before then, since you've mentioned it, maybe we'll come back to it. But before then, everybody is looking for how to conserve funds. And in Edo there, you people are expanding the cabinet, about 28, commissioners now. What was the logic behind that? Because I think it must be a matter of strategy, and you're the best place to explain that to us.
Well, you see, what is at issue for me is not necessarily the size of government. I've listened to several commentaries and conversations around this. I think the real issue is about how to mitigate incidences of corruption in public office and in public financing. What goes under the drains through corruption, part of which we are addressing now as a consequence of the actions and inactions of the previous government, is the issue of corruption. Financial malfeasance and conquistadorial behavior by those who preside over the collective patrimony of a state. The Edo present cabinet structure, 28 commissioners, fine. It's just to replicate a few things that are happening at the federal level, creating, Ministry of Science, for example, Ministry of Humanitarian Service and Poverty Alleviation, Ministry of Livestock, which is new at the federal, so we have at the state, so that there won't be some kind of conflict or role conflict amongst all the commissioners or the various ministries with respect to the issue-based, area. So for me, when you widen the scope, you are bringing on board credible, result-driven, utility-driven individuals who can help you to advance, your vision. In this case, the SHINE agenda of the Okpebohlo government is one that will take, cognizance of security, health, infrastructure, natural resources, and agriculture and education. And to deepen the conversation around security, the governor has created a ministry called Public Security and Safety. It didn't exist before now, but a new commissioner has been appointed, a new ministry created in that respect, so that that individual will be having interface with the security agencies in the state, the police, civil defense, DSS, and what have you, and also create community policing methodologies that will help to address the issues of insecurity across the state, because we inherited a state that was heavily polarized. We inherited a state that, the politics of division was almost like the article of faith. And so in order for them to, reintegrate themselves into the new thinking of a new government, it will take some time. So you have incidences of kidnapping here and there, even when we have invested so much in that aspect. So we are not going to relax and rest on our oars. So we are going to ensure that we continue to ensure that the right things are done. The governor has provided quite a number of vehicles for mobility and logistics, even machine about 400 of them, to places where vehicles cannot access. The poor state of the road that we inherited is another issue. We are fixing them now. Rains are here, but once the rains stop, there will be more haste, more action in ensuring that all of these roads are recovered. Because when the roads are good, the issue of kidnapping will reduce, because oftentimes point of contact with commuters is where the roads are bad. They will stay there when you are slowing down, they come out from the bush and what have you. So there's so much of bush combing being carried out by the Edo Security Corps in collaboration with the military, police and DSS in what we call Operation Strike Force. And so we will not rest on this. We will continue to sustain this effort, and we will also carry out orientation of minds, telling people the danger in kidnapping. The governor has signed a new law which is more or less like pronouncing death sentence to anyone who is caught in the act, both kidnapping and cultism. The law is there. If they catch you, you are in trouble. Buildings have been demolished when they discover that is where they hide their victims and what have you. So we are doing quite a lot. But, if the state were to be an El Dorado, as those who led before us presented it, it would have been a different scenario. But, Uncle Yori, we make the opposite of what they canvassed before now.